All right, guys, welcome back to Jack on Tracks. And this episode, we're gonna start detailing that building. The big thing was the inside. I played a little bit around on the outside. I primed this half, and this half is straight paint on there. I did a little test piece here. It came out all right. It looks a little too light for me. I thought I had another piece over here where I gave it a little bit of a wash and kind of dulled it down a little bit, but I'm not really sure. I'll speak to some of the gurus at the club about that. So basically what we got here is on this side, this is the inside wall. I believe I primed this already. I think I did. So I took one of my detail pencils. I did a little squiggly up here on both sides. This side is a heavy coat, a chip coat. It's a couple of days old dry. So I don't know how it's going to affect it. And I'm going to tape that off. And as you saw in the thumbnail, I'm using my wife's hairspray. My wife and daughter's hairspray. Don't tell them, you know how pissed they're going to get about that stuff. But it's for my art. I need it for my art. So get this nice and sealed up over here, really good. And like, I've seen two old school techniques. One was where you just took the hairspray and just did the hairspray on it. I want to get this, make sure I get this shucking up. Probably should have went out and bought the cheaper stuff they had out there. Probably works better. One is just spraying this on, and that's it. So I'm just gonna spread it on, nice coat. And the other technique was to, that's a little bit too much. Sprinkle salt over it. So I'm going to put this under the light and let it dry. And when this dries out, we're gonna spray paint this white. I got a feeling I have a lot of chipping going on because I went a little too heavy on that. That's me. But you know, that's fixable because it's not dry yet. We'll wipe it all off. Try it again. Give it a little spritz. Went a little heavy with the spritz. Just get a little altitude. I'm going to take this, put this on the other table, let this dry. Because we have to discuss windows. Let's go and discuss these windows we got coming. All right, these are, as you can tell, I cleaned the desk up a little bit, very little bit. So we got a few things to put away. My problem is I still got other projects going, like the Overland cars. Taking a little break from those to do this. So here we are. My whole world here. All right, so I got this from Rail Scale. These are the windows and doors I made some before. I thought I had a window in here. Is the window missing? No, I didn't do a window. I made doors. Okay, so here's the door sheet. And I have the glasses are in there. We're going to leave those in there so they don't get damaged right now. All right, so I did these doors, and they fit relatively nice. All right, this one's a little long. These are problems I'm going to come across because I cut these down, this one down. But my big question is the windows. So if you look at the doors, all right, the door is this piece. This is the middle piece. This is the top piece. It has adhesive on the back. Makes no sense why there's adhesive on the back of that. It's just so they just did all one thing. But I wish what they would have did was I wish they would have laser cut this on the back piece as well, because this one I doubled up. Okay, and I had to peel the tape off. So if I put it in from the front, it would sit like this. But that does not look good. Now if I go from the back, the outside looks good. And on this plain wall, it looks pretty decent. Looks, I don't know. The problem is this piece right here is going to get laminated with more of the brick, because there's going to be the inside. There's going to be the office inside. There's going to be the door inside to the office, and this is probably going to go. This one is going to be the door going to the outside of the building. So I mean, I got to do one more door, and they're coming out pretty good. So basically what I'm doing is I'm building them 3 pieces at a time, and then cutting them down. Now I think I got plenty of doors. I have one more door. So this is I believe they call this an 8-pane, or right, a 10-pane window, a 10-pane door, and this is a 4-pane door. So this 4-pane door is going on the far side of the warehouse. The single door on that far side with a single window. That single window is going to get this fan. I was just trying out some colors on here to see what they look like, and I'm kind of digging this green. It's the Vallejo dark green. I have an interior green, but I really think it's too light. I'm gonna waste one more window and see. It's almost like I almost dry brushed this on. So I think there's gonna be too light. Yeah, I'm already seeing this. Even when I'm putting this on, I'm just gonna go heavy with this. Even heavy, this is looking too light. Yeah, we're gonna go with this dark color, and I think I'm gonna go even darker with the dark color. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of heavier of a coat on it. So these doors with test pieces, right? I have plenty of them to go. I want to do the wash on them, but they're not. These things have been. I mean, these have gotten multiple washes, and they're not even coloring up yet. So this wash isn't. I don't know what this material is made of. That's not doing. It's not really accepting these washes. This is 2 heavy washes. This was only 1 wash, and I'm done with it. So we're gonna go with this paint. Now this is the Vallejo Air. It's pre-thinned, and it's really for airbrushing, but I actually like it for regular painting, because it's a little thin. And even though it's a little thin, even though it's, you know, paint, it's showing a little transparency, so the wood's coming through. So I'm liking that, because I'm gonna, when this is done, and before I cut these out, I'm gonna actually give them, I'm gonna give these a wash again, the murky brown. Maybe not go to murky brown. I'm gonna go with the old wood. That's like a silver. And then it'll pop any of the wood that didn't get covered. I did that on the Tara's bar build. Did the same thing. It came out the same way. So if that most of that building was all that pretty much all the stain I did on there was these Pietros. I like these. And after the whole model was done, I gave the model a complete wash of this aged barnwood, and it kind of brought everything together. So that's kind of like what I like to do now. I went with this dark blue, just something to contrast it, and I silvered up the fan blade. I have this side one I'm going to do with this inside. I'm going to flip this over and put that on the inside. But anyway, so this is pretty much just a test piece that we're doing right now. I mean, it's probably going to wind up being one of the windows. I need three windows. No, 2, 3, 4. I need 6 windows. Have enough, so I'm not too concerned. So let me just cut this out. These are of different sizes. The grate is smaller than the fan blade, but I think the fan is smaller than the window. The same size as the window. Is it supposed to fit in the window? Not really sure what it's supposed to do. I'm assuming that once you put it on this piece, that'll go through there. And this fits through the window. All right, so like I've been telling you all along, when you go to these projects, start with a new blade. I use that blade to cut that down, and basically that blade is shot. All right, let me get these windows out. That's the window. That's going to sit in there. Right now like that. So that's one way of doing it. That's making my decisions a little easier here. did that. That looks pretty good. Alright, so this I gotta do a little work to this. Alright. I kinda knew it that we were gonna need to do it. Let's do it. That looks pretty good. I was gonna look sick. I gotta give it that. They're gonna look really good in there. How they gonna look on the inside? I don't know. We're gonna have to work on this. What I do need, oh man, I need a new shoulder. That's what I need. All right, so that's looking pretty good for that. When this dries, I'm gonna stick it onto this, and then I'm gonna come in here and peel this off, and I'm gonna do it now. Let that dry. All right, guys, so we're gonna let this stuff dry up, and then we'll come back. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, guys, so we're back. This dried up a little bit. All right, this side is the chipping medium, and this side is the hairspray and salt. Well, let's give it a shot. This is a semi, not really a rough brush, but it's. I gotta get a better brush than this. I thought this was a little firmer. Yeah, I'm not getting anything on this side. I think it's because I got way too good of a seal on it, and it's just not. I'm not getting in there. Just gonna come in here real quick. I'm just gonna scrape off the salt. That's the salt scraped off. I don't know. I might be going too heavy with a top coat on this. I really don't know. Like I said, I've never had any real success doing this chipping. The salt technique seems to be working pretty good. Let's see. The salt and hairspray technique seems to work a little bit better. I'm going to try it on another piece. The wire brush is way too coarse for that. This is a slightly coarser nylon brush. I don't really know. Not really that happy with it. Not really that happy with it in general. What I might wind up doing is definitely not. These are definitely not. The right color to be doing it with. Let's try this on for size. Well, it's actually looking a little bit better. The dry brushing, the sponging and the dry brushing is actually looking better. I don't know. All right, we'll let that sit. I'll think about that. I am coming very close to needing to make a decision on what I'm doing because this is where we're at. I mean, my next step is mounting this base. So I got to do these wall. I got to do this wall, so I can mount the base. I mean, I think it's looking pretty damn good. So I don't know. It's kind of got me in a little bit of a state here. So there's going to be the office. That's going to be the office. This is going to be the inside wall. I got cut down. All right, guys, I'm going to take a little break and we'll get back at it in a little while. All right, guys, welcome back. A couple of things have been going on since I think we last recorded. I cut down these bolsters, all right, and I started doing the installation. I know I didn't take you guys along on that. It was just easier for me just to work this out in my head and with a clear mind. So plus it's hard to record. So basically, these are all lined up with the internal joints. Don't worry about this over it. Any of the ugliness that's over here, that's getting covered in a off-white grayish, greenish paint. I have that on order. It's coming in. None of my local suppliers had it, and once again, I had to go to Scamazon. So I got this one over here that's got to get done, and this one over here that has to get done too. So let me get to it. It's like I said, it's gonna be hard for me to film it because of where it is and how these things are designed. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking some of my 1, 2, 3 blocks, pushing them up against the outside to get this sit as flush as possible to the wall. This is a full piece. This is a full piece. All right. So pop it off. You don't have to scuff up the back, but when I think when you use these bonding or fusing thinner type methods, that those little cracks that are in there, that little bit of dust that's in that it makes, I think that kind of helps gets everything nice and adhered up together. Now, a little bit of the quagmire that's coming in here is that I tried to line up the lines in the concrete with the lines on with these bolsters on the wall, but they're a little off. There's nothing I can do about that. It's pretty much a done deal, but I did my best I could do it. So. Pretty much that. As you can see, some of them don't line up 100%, but it is pretty much what it is. So, you know, you're gonna have the pylons coming in here, lined up, and I originally bought 3/8 trusses for these, and they're way too big. So they're not coming in. It's not working for me. So I'm gonna go and I gotta place an order and reorder the ones I want. I'm gonna go with the quarter. The 1/4 inch are there's a size below the 1/4 inch, but I think they're too small. 1/4 inch is my final size I'm going with. So they're going to be 1/4 inch, and I'm judging it because this is 1/4 inch too. So I'm thinking that's looking about the right size. So 1/4 inch truss on these 1/4 inch rails, which this in reality this building was 2.5 stories and about as big as this table. So this is a general representation of what was there, not an actual prototypical building. I had found online a bunch of cotton and wool bales, but now the only one that I'm able to seem to find is the cotton bales. So we're going to be going with cotton bales. The good thing is that they are very similar in appearance, and they are very similar in size. I didn't even, as just a regular guy, I figured, how big of a bale is going to be. Coming in, these guys got to carry it. Maybe 100 pounds. Whatever. No, 400 pounds. That's what I'm showing. Common commercial sale of bales for industrial use. It was about 400 pounds. Man. There was a whole generation of when men were men. These guys were moving this stuff around all day to keep those machines fed. I don't know if I could do it. I forgot what I did the last time. I put a couple of dabs of the thick on here. This actually got it. This held it in place better while I was working on it. Like I said, it's hard to film this. So you'll see that when I build a lot of structures, when I build structures, I use this thick stuff. I use all three of these when I build structures. Now I got I have this stuff. I've never used. I've only used this very little. I just got this. This is like the first time I've ever used it. So I'm gonna try using that. But what I usually try to do for strength is, like, I'll put a couple of dabs of this in spots, put the part together, hit it with the quick set. That sets it in place, gets it set in place, and then I'll come over it sometimes, and I'll use the capillary action of this stuff, and I'll on a paintbrush, and I'll go in and I'll paint the seam a couple of times with it, and that seems to hold it in place. And if it's not going to be visible, then I'll take this and paint the seam with the back of the seam with that, and it really builds up the seam. It makes it a little thick, but since you're not seeing it, I don't really care. But it does make for a very solid joint. So we got that in place. Windows and doors are going to go into a different. We're going to do a different video on that. I'm going to airbrush. I have a green that I'm going to use for these, and we're going to airbrush them. After speaking with guys from the club, their consensus is that these windows don't look that bad done on the inside. They look about, they're not too chunky, which is what I was worried about. I kind of felt they might look a little too chunky on the when they're in there, but they don't think they think it looks acceptable. So, but I'm gonna try to trim this down a little bit. I'm gonna try to trim these down just a tad, just to make them a little more dainty. But we're gonna do that with a file. All right, guys. So we're gonna let this set up, and then once this is dry, and once this is dry, I have to figure out what I'm doing at these corners. I contemplated just taking one of these and just shoving it in there and calling it even. Now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't look that bad. It actually doesn't. It actually looks pretty appropriate. It's a little bit wider than it needs to be, but it doesn't look horrible. I thought I had this one already painted, but I didn't have it on tape. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to I might try sanding these down a little bit. Make it a little thinner. And then maybe we'll go from there. But that'll be a little bit later on. Right now, we're just going to let this set up and dry. We're going to take it apart, and then we'll look at it again. I'm really happy with the way this floor came out. I'm impressed. I impressed myself. I know. But I'm nervous about going any further. I want to put a couple of This looks like a decent sized crack. I'm gonna put a couple of lines over this, cracks off of that. I'm just gonna hit a couple of areas where it looks like there might be like some cracks, but that might be about it. I thought about giving this a wash over the top of it, of like a dark wash to fill in these things, but I don't think I'm gonna do it because it looks too good right now. So I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave this the way it is, and we'll go from there. So we'll be back shortly. All right, guys. So we're back, and off screen, off camera, I did a little brainstorming with this room that was there. Wasn't really a lot of talking going on, so there really wasn't any reason for me to have the camera on for that. We figured out what I got to do with that, and working it in with the I-beams. I can't put, I built a corner section, and I tried figuring it out in there, and I would actually have to basically cut and sand these down to get what I needed, and it was not that it's more work than I would have wanted to do. I think that the outcome wouldn't be any better than going with the I-beams, because they kind of built the office after they built the building. So that's the story I'm going with, and that's the story I'm sticking with. All right, so now, as you may know, there's unfinished ends. So what we're doing is I'm going to glue this on, and then I'm going to, oh, Christ, that was a mistake. Ooh, so I told you, I gotta show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. This just got ugly. All right, I need to find another set of two of these balusters, because these are not full length. These are cut down. So I need to acquire another set. I believe I have a set in another kit somewhere. So what my plan is to put these on and then cut them flush with this inside wall, and that's going to be the finished look of it. All right. I have the paint coming in. I got the paint in. It's like it's the color I want. It's going to look good in here. It's a gray. It's a light gray color. When it went on wet, it almost looked like primer. And then when I sprayed I'm like, that looks like primer. So I took primer out and I sprayed primer next to it, and it is completely in a different spectrum. It has a lot more beige in it, and it actually really does look good. So we're going to go with that for the inside walls. I'm going to have to come in here. I don't know if I kind of have to tape these windows. So, all right. I'm going to tape this off, and I'm going to tape off this back wall and spray it. The inside of here is going to get covered. I'm a little nervous about that because I'm going to get a lot of bleed through, and I don't want bleed through here. So what I'm figuring I'm going to have to do is I'm not going to tape it. I'm going to put some tape over on this side and this side, and I'm going to spray this wall, let it completely dry, pull the tape off, throw the tape on this side, spray this side complete, let it dry, do the same over here. And then if I have to, I'll tape around the windows and the doors, spray I'm going to spray dull coat around the doors and the windows, and then come over here and shoot it one more coat of this color paint to hide anything that came through. Yeah, it's a lot of work. but it is what it is. Or I gotta tape off these windows. I'm not taping off these windows. So, but that's where we are right now. So let me go find these pieces that I believe I still have. If I don't, I'm gonna have to figure it out and possibly go and purchase another kit and get them for this. But I think I have a set somewhere in an old set from years ago. All right, guys. So give me a couple minutes and we'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. So I glued these pieces onto the ends. I did the top. There's the bot. There's the other wall, and I cut this one out, and now I'm cutting this one out. And yes, I took the pieces that I cut off and I reattached it. I looked around and I couldn't find the stuff that I thought I had. So, I mean, it's a very thin piece, but it gives it that little bit, it gives it that finished look to it. So, actually looking pretty good. You guys don't know, that's actually a pretty easy way to clean out a emery cloth, emery pad. This is actually still kind of soft over here, so we're gonna let that harden up. So we're gonna let that harden up. We pretty much, the color that we're gonna use is, hold on. The color of the interior is gonna be this color, that color. So that's going to be the interior color, and we're going to come in here, and I'm going to try to do a little sponging, maybe, down the lower section where we get brushed up against and a little worn out. I mean, This is just a test piece. This is not going in the building. Something like that. And a couple of blemishes here and there. Water leak, I don't know. Just trying to figure it out. Yeah, let that dry. Let it all dry up. But yeah, so even on this test piece, wasn't totally happy with the way some of it came out. But you can always go back and touch it up. So that's the best part of it. Yeah, so we'll let this dry up a little bit, and then we'll go we'll go from there. All right, we'll be back. All right, guys, this video has been running pretty long, and I think we're going to wrap it up. All right, so in this video, we cut down these bolsters to fit in the building, and we installed them. We got these end pieces. I think this is just going to trick the eye, so we'll be fine. I showed you how we cut these down. We installed these, put them in. I finished off the end of the building, so it's nice and clean looking. We painted the inside of the building completely. The outside is still brick. I didn't get much overspray. I was a little worried about having it in the openings, but I'm kind of digging the openings being painted up like that, because you would have had mortar in there with the brickwork and that type of stuff. So I think that'll pass for that. We did a little test piece right here on adding a little color, making it look like it's worn. So I think this is about the route we're going to take with this. We're going to try doing a little more, scraping. The chipping thing doesn't work for me. I must be just putting on the top coat way too heavy. That's the only thing I could think of, or I'm just not supposed to do it. I had to remake a couple of these pieces for the end pieces because they come short, but nothing you can't tell. So basically, what we got left is we're gonna build. We're gonna do these windows. We're gonna weather up these walls, and we'll get this. I think in the next video we'll get the outside attached to the board. So this is going to be all one piece. This is separate right now. We'll get it all as one piece, and then we'll when the new truss come in from Plastic Struck, we'll build out the truss work, and then we'll figure out the lighting. We'll build the office here. I think it's going to look pretty good. I originally considered doing the door this way. I just didn't like it. I don't know. It didn't look right to me. So I put it this way. So I think this is going to be a little better for what we're going to do, and we're going to detail that in later videos. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate you guys putting up with it. I hope this video wasn't too bouncing all over the place. I kind of got a little sidetracked with stuff, and I think I went off on a couple of small tangents. But yeah, I think this is coming along pretty good, and we're gonna keep moving forward with it. Yeah, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you later.